So we're here at Nashville Speedway today, and we're going to here talk to Scott Menlen. Scott kind of runs things here at Nashville Speedway, and has a lot of things on his plate other than just running the day-to-day operations from here at Nashville Fairgrounds. So, Scott, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do and where you come from and your background.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. Scott Menlen from Nashville, Tennessee now, originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. Spent a lot of time up north.
Yeah.
And
you can't get that Yankees out of it. I mean, I guess that's,
no.
is that really considered Yankee?
Detroit?
Yeah.
I think so. I was absolutely considered a Yankee when I first came here. It's not quite so bad anymore. But so it started up north, and from as long as I can remember, I've always been in auto racing. The story goes, I was 3 years old when I went to my first race at Flat Rock Speedway. Family took me up there, and just haven't stopped since then, I suppose.
Yeah. So what do you do here at Nashville, and your affiliation with CRA, and I ran CRA for quite some time now, and we've seen you around for years. But really, your role has changed a lot here in the last several years, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Kind of step up to the plate, I guess, and just tell us a little bit about that and what you do here at Nashville.
So Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, the general manager, and have been since 2020 when Track Enterprise got the lease on the Speedway. So I've been here doing that and running the day-to-day operations here, and then worked with CRA on and off in various roles for over 10 years. So it's been quite a while, but the beginning of this season in 23 got transitioned into the series director role with CRA. So we've got Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, everything that we do here, plus the 4 series that make up CRA, the CRA Street Stocks, the VORES Welding, CRA Late Model Sportsman, JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour for the Pro Lates, and then the Super Late Models with the ASA CRA
Well, it
Super
sounds
Series.
like you got a lot going on.
It is a lot, and
how to juggle it all.
It's quite a bit, and then mix in what we're doing with the ASA Stars National Tour and all of our involvement in that. So there's a lot of moving parts, and fortunately we've got a really good team here at Nashville Fairgrounds, and a good team with CRA and ASA, and working together through ASA with the other Super Late Model Series, right? The Midwest Tour and the Southern Super Series. We can pull a lot of resources together to do a lot of good things.
Yeah, so one thing that I've been impressed with is, and we have it at our racetrack. We've seen that you started a company, Select Motorsports Safety, which is, a very great idea. That travels around and helps these racetracks. And you've come down to our place and it's helped us tremendous amount. When you're safety is number one priority, and it takes a lot of money to invest in some of these racetracks, the right equipment to keep these drivers safe. So, we've gotten y'all to come down, your group to come down into our place, and done a very great job. It's helped us out and took a lot of pressure off of us to know that there's someone there to get the job done when there is a problem on the racetrack. So, tell us a little bit about that and how that come about and how it got started.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that, and we always enjoy getting down to your place. And safety is certainly a high priority, and sometimes it gets overlooked in the shuffle of everything that we're doing, whether it's on our side of the fence or even competitors' side, right? Looking for that speed advantage and focusing on setup, and we're focusing on selling tickets and doing a lot of things. So our safety program with Select we've had for quite a while now. And more recently, we're doing a lot more pavement races with it. But that's kind of that's to ensure that we are focused on that very important aspect of what we do. And we've got a good group of guys from all over. We've got some guys from Michigan and Indiana and New York and Nashville and Florida that come together for these big races, and that's their focus there that weekend. The sole focus is being quick and efficient with cleanup and making sure that our equipment on board the trucks is checked off and right and ready to go, and working with the racetracks to be sure we don't see any anomalies that could be a dangerous situation. So when we all get real busy with the normal things that we do, sometimes we can lose sight of that. So being able to have the safety team go to these bigger events and work with different tracks and promoters, it's a good feeling for us on our end too.
It is for a driver,
Yeah.
to look on pit road there and to know that, if something does happen, that we're going to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So it does, as a driver, it does make us feel good. So, man, if everyone that owns a racetrack, all the work that goes into it, and that's one less thing that we have to worry about. So it's been good for us. Y'all do a great job. So if there's any racetracks out there, I'd definitely recommend, big shows or anything like that. Very, very professional. I thought y'all do a great job. So, man, so let's move to, what's going on in Nashville. Everyone, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of hype, speculations, a lot going on, and at the end of the day, we really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, having my family owning a racetrack, we have to deal with the county a lot,
Yep.
and the city. So I can only imagine the headache that goes on. And now with the soccer facility here, you have to manage and kind of work with those guys too. So there's a lot of juggling going on that people don't realize. They just come sit in the stands, or us drivers just go in the pits, unload the race cars, and go race. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. And tell us a little bit about that and what the future looks like. I know it's unpredictable, but kind of where it's going.
It's a lot. This place is a beast in some regard. As far as the future goes, my focus, and it always has been since I've been here, it's what we have going on right now, and putting together a good solid program for the existing events that we have, and looking at next year and working towards that. Long-term future, big picture future. There's very smart people working on that, and that's their daily focus. But mine is more so just what we're doing here, and there's a lot that goes into it. Just on our operations end itself, not even including the other factors around the property. It's a big venue with multiple entrances and gates and parking lots, and we've got a lockup procedure. I think it's 62 doors and locks that have to be locked at the end of the night every time. So there's a lot that goes into it, and this whole campus, the fairgrounds complex here, there's a lot of moving parts. There's 3 expo buildings behind turn 3 and 4 that have events all the time. Right behind our office and grandstand, there's apartment buildings going up with a soccer stadium behind it that has events, and then we've got the parks and dog parks behind turn 1 and 2. So we have
nothing like rolling in the racetrack and seeing someone walk their dog over.
Right. Yeah, and
we got I'm not walking a dog here in Nashville. So.
We've got to be careful not to leave the gates open too, because it just the racetrack turns into an expansion of the dog park sometimes. But that's okay. It's good that the community's curious, right? And the park goers, if we have cars testing here, we'll open up the grandstand so they can come and look.
Oh, definitely.
And so there's a lot of benefits to having all of this activity. When there is a soccer match and people are here and parking, it's an opportunity for them to see the racetrack and a little bit of what we're doing. But logistically, it's certainly a challenge, and there's a lot of work that goes in working with the other partners on the campus. And so we have the soccer stadium now, right? It's
I
here.
hope y'all are selling tickets to these suites right here. These, I don't know what they lofts or whatever.
Apartments of some sort.
Tickets to the race. They're gonna get a good show here.
It's a
November.
great view. If you're moving there, I sure hope you like auto racing and soccer. But it's the good thing is, so the stadium's here. The campus is what it is, and that's what we have. And we do have a good relationship with everybody on it, whether it's the fairgrounds or soccer, and working around coordinating the events together the best we can. So that's the positive of it, and that's the reality of the situation. And so we're going to make the best of the opportunities that we have with that.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, you look at there's a lot of racetracks closing down. You got Greenville Pickens, you got Rockford Speedway, and you got potentially this place. In Georgia, there was Gresham, Lanier. So people don't realize, like, this place is a part of history. So it's tough. There's a lot of, families and a lot of great people. That's a lot of history as far as, other drivers that's raced here and has gone on to the Cups and Cup Series and things like that. So, hopefully they can take that in consideration, that it is part of history, and, hopefully to be here forever. And, automobile racing in general is struggling, I feel like. So, just the new generation, I think hopefully we can get a new crowd in to save some of these racetracks and get influenced and start, getting intrigued by racing in general. So we'll see where it goes.
And along those lines, I don't know if I would use the word auto racing is struggling. It's definitely different.
It's different.
And we've been working on this quite a bit. And primarily with CRA and some of the things that we're looking at doing with CRA as we move forward. And I think it applies here too. So it's 2023, which is a lot different than 1993, right? And so 1993, if you had a racetrack, you open the gates and you're going to have a full crowd and you're going to run a race.
There was nothing to do in 1990, and now we have so many different things you can go do, like walk your dog.
It's a lot. Or here we could have three things going on the same property.
Yeah.
But so 2003 as a sanctioning body, as a series, right? You come in, you run your race, you have a good crowd, you throw the green flag, checkered flag, you go on to the next one. 2023, it's a lot different, and so but that fan base, that passion, it's still there, and there's examples of that with the Snowball Derby. There's examples of that with what we did here with the SRX race, and the amount of people that were so excited to be back and see their favorite drivers and do that. And Track Enterprises, we did an SRX race at Peevely, and a bunch of us went up there to help, and I ended up being a golf cart shuttle driver for the event, which was okay.
You're hired for Sonora Beach State Classic.
I'm sure glad I did it, because I got to shuttle in a lot of different race fans, and just to see the excitement of the people coming to the event. And there was a family that we picked up on one of the carts, and it was their grandfather's 93rd birthday. And they got them tickets months ago, and they were so excited to be at the racetrack. You could see Kenny Schrader race in person one more time. And I just try and remember those, that moment. And so that's our responsibility as event organizers. And that's what we're here to do, is put on that show and give those fans and families that experience. And those options are still there with what we do. But it takes all of us to do it in 2023.
So that leads to the next question. Do you think the length of the races, do you think the 100 laps, the 200 laps, it gets boring to people? Do you think the format of races should change, and it's going to be tough for drivers to accept change? But I have my opinion on that. What do you think? What do you think will put people in the stands and get back intrigued? Do you think the races are too long? Do you think what do you think is going on?
I think it's hard to put it under the same umbrella. There may be a difference between a 100-lap CRA race and the All-American 400. And our 100-lap CRA races, we've added in a competition caution after 50 consecutive green flag laps, so we don't have flag-to-flag races anymore. To tighten up the field, to allow teams to come in and make adjustments. So we've made some of those changes. Now, All-American 400, I think there's mixed opinions on the 400. So the 400's a 300-lap race. And my opinion differs from a lot of other people, which is I think the 400 should be a 400. It's one of those. It's like the Winchester 400 or the Red Bud. It's that traditional race.
Correct.
And those
100%.
particular events, that's what it is. Now it's tough on teams. It's more tires. It's more money. It's more wear on engines and equipment. And it's a longer event. And if it's really cold outside, you might not want to sit there in the grandstands for another 100 laps. So that's what to me. I think it's hard to blanket all that in whether they should be shorter or longer.
I agree with the Winchester 400's the Winchester 400. Snowball Derby, same with the All-American 400 here. So those traditional races, I think, should stay around. But, I think, my opinion, I don't know if it matters or not. Not that it doesn't matter. I think that we should run heat races. I think we should go to the racetrack not knowing who we're going to race that day. I think there ought to be group qualifying.
Okay.
I think we ought to split it up. You random draw, odd and even. I think you're racing that group that day, and then when you start the race, you're racing everyone. I think you can have 10 of the best Super Late Model drivers in the same heat race, in the same qualifying group. It mixes up, throws a lot of strategy into it. I think, and then go race your 75, 100 laps. I think it would draw some attention to the fans, give them something different, not perspective, but just something different. I don't know what the words I'm looking for, but just everyone's so scared of change, they're going to step away from it. And the first thing is the drivers are going to complain about it. And I don't understand why, because I look at dirt racing and it goes well because people respect each other. When you're out there on the racetrack with dirt cars, you don't have spotters, people respect you. I think people complain about it now is because they don't respect each other. It's just a free for all. So I think it would go a long ways. I think it would make for some better racing. I've been doing it now for 25 years. I love racing, but sometimes I get bored with the same thing. But like you said, the traditional races, need to be what they are. So we'll see.
Yeah, and so I think you're exactly right, because we've tried heat race night here for Pro Late Models once before, and what an unpopular decision in the garage area it was. Yeah. So we did it, and it was a good show, and they were actually racing in a heat race, which was a little bit surprised. We went into 3 wide into turn 1 on the first lap of the heat race, and everybody got through it because we've got some good drivers here, and it shuffled up. I believe we lined up the feature based on how you finished the heat races, like a dirt program would. But we can't be we certainly can't be afraid of changing to trying some different things and seeing what works, and what works on a Saturday night might not apply to an ASA Sunday afternoon race, right? And but yeah, and I think we all need to be open to that, whether it's us as event organizers that go, well, this is the schedule we've had, and we've always done it this way, and that's what we're going to keep doing, to a race team trying something different. And but yeah, it's we're in a different time, and it's changing, but there's a lot of positive out there, and I think there's a lot of good things, and we do what we can to keep working towards those. Yeah. So,
you have a big weekend coming up here in just a few weeks. I know it's all a lot of organization, a lot of shuffling going on. So, tell us a little bit about the local guys that are running, how the format for the 400 here, and how it's going to go for the weekend.
Yeah, All-American 400 weekend, big weekend in Nashville. It's our big year ending, and it's one of those crown jewel races on everybody's calendar. So we're pretty excited about it. We'll move in on Thursday, and we'll have practice during the day for late models on Friday. And then Friday night.
So we're going to be here 4 days.
And it goes back to the logistics of Nashville.
It does,
right?
Because you have to have that organized parking now, because they've really limited what y'all can do with trucks and trailers. So you can't come early.
No,
you kind of got to be in that time slot and it plan out. So like you said, it is tough that it is a 4-day show, but the logistics part of it, you almost have to do it.
Yeah, well, and what are the so the little things that we can do to kind of help make that a little easier, right? We'll assign parking so people know where they're going and send that out early, and we'll have the option for teams to get their credentials for the weekend on Thursday to save some time on Friday mornings. We'll try and do those little things to help it, but unfortunately, it's tough. It does make for a long weekend, but we've got 80 spots in the infield, and those 80 spots can't accommodate 80 haulers of today, right? Haulers are getting bigger, but pit areas aren't getting any bigger.
We need to go back to the open trailer
open
days.
trailers only.
Yes, and that way, man, and it goes back to people seeing it going down the road. I know we're kind of off, but people seeing it go down the road and get intrigued and come to the racetrack. You know what I mean? And follow you to the racetrack. So that's what's cool about it.
How many unmarked haulers do we have that roll in? Exactly. It's just it's one of those differences, but. So we'll get everybody in, get everybody parked, and then so we're in the middle of the city, right? We've got neighbors and businesses all around us. Downtown is 2.4 miles away.
Yeah, we were there last night.
It's so we're in the middle of a lot. So we're restricted on when we can have on-track activity. So we've got to jam all of this into a pretty small window. So we can't get on until 12, and then we've got to be done at 9:30 on Friday night. So we'll practice late models during the day, and then our quarter mile teams will come in the afternoon and evening to run their championship race program. So Bandoleros, Legends, Front Runners, Pure Stock, Street Stock, Limited late models on the quarter mile Friday night, which is a pretty good show. It's a lot different than the 5/8s, but man, those limited late model guys.
I was sitting here looking. I mean, we've always walked around the quarter mile just down on the track, but first time I've seen it up here, it's a lot bigger than what you think. So I'm sure it can put on some pretty good racing. Yeah,
it's a legitimate quarter mile. It's pretty flat, and the turns are tight, and we've got those rumble strips down on the bottom. And but the limited late model guys, they've got it figured out, and they're not afraid to stick their nose in there and make things happen, which you have to on this racetrack. So that'll be a good show. And then we move into Saturday, and from that point forward, everything switches to the big track.
Yeah.
And we have to move haulers out Friday night, right? Quarter mile cars have to go out. That way the street stocks and compacts can come in. So Saturday, VORES Compact Touring Series, the CRA Street Stocks, qualifying for the All-American with the super late models, and then the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, non-points for CRA, but it's the points championship for the Nashville Pro Late Models, which is a 100-lap feature event on Saturday evening. Typically, in years past, that race has been on Sunday afternoon, part of the 400. The 300 Supers plus the 100 Pros makes the 400, but this year, that'll be the featured program on Saturday night.
I think that's a great idea, because, man, it gets a lot on Sunday. You know, you get home late, and you've been here 4 days, and you know, the big show is, you don't want to take nothing away from the pro late models, but the big show is the 400 or the supers. So I think that's a great idea. It just kind of helps with the process, you know.
Yeah, and All-American 400 Sunday is a pretty special day, especially here in Middle Tennessee. And so, you know, we can have that good drivers meeting. We got to bring the cars back through tech, and then we can angle park them on the bottom of the racetrack. And so when the gates open and fans walk in, and we're going to have fans walking in they're going to be walking in for their 39th one of these, right? And so they come in below us, and it's relatively early morning, and the sun's over there above that tree line, and they walk through this breezeway and look down, and there's 30-something super late models angle parked, and we've got the pace car down there, and the return of ASA, and so we can have those past champions here, and then we've got the autograph session and the driver intros, and all these little special moments build up to the national anthem, and we're here in Music City, so we're going to have a good national anthem, and then that 7-minute countdown to the command, and the command to start the engines, and then 30-something ASA cars pull out. Yeah. It's a really exciting day.
It is.
And again, like we talked about earlier,
you don't know if it's the last one. You don't know if it's the last one.
You never know. We certainly don't think so.
I hope not.
And we and a lot of people in this community continue to do what they can to make sure that it's not, and we have 39 more. But,
well, we appreciate you having me on, having you on.
Thanks for being here.
We appreciate what you do for short track racing, Nashville Fairgrounds, and everything. You got a lot going on. So we appreciate that, and hopefully we can have you on again.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for doing this too. And like we talked about a little bit earlier, it takes all of us, whether it's us on this side, whether it's the teams, whether it's the fans, and just all those little things we can do, like passing out cards at the autograph sessions and interacting with the fans this way. And we've got a lot of potential with what we're doing, and we're looking forward to what we can do with super late model and pro late model and stock car racing in years to come.
Well, sounds good.
Real quick question. you talk about the Select Motorsports. Have y'all figured out how to keep a fire extinguisher in the back so that doesn't get picked up? You talk about safety. Huh?
I forgot about that with them. wasn't it?
Have y'all figured that out?
We lost an extinguisher this year. Yeah, we did. We thought
sometimes.
about tethering them, but we want to be able to get to them pretty quickly. Never in a million years did we think that we would lose an extinguisher like that.
It's almost as smart as the guy at Bowman Gray there at the village round.
Yeah, at least he picked it up and threw it at the side of the car and not through the middle. But
yeah. It.
What about for the All American 400? You'll have it's the end for the ASA as well. It's their championship.
Yep.
So, can you tell us any big surprise secret that might be coming out for the All American? Like who's going to be singing the national anthem, or any kind of surprise that's going to go on that weekend?
I can't tell you that.
All right, then.
Can't tell you that.
Yeah. Past champions will be down front. They'll get recognized.
I know that.
Yeah. How many have you won?
Just one.
Well, hey,
And I promise you, it might be the only one. The way my luck's running around here.
yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.